All right, so let's do our very first story this afternoon. My name is Kweku Temene, and here scrap dealers are unhappy. Demand and price of the commodity has dropped after the ban on exportation of ferrous scrap. While the alleged 100-ton scrap supplied to local steel mills are still locked up owing to low demand.
Scrap metals, both ferrous and non-ferrous for sale, is a thriving business. The ban was to promote local scrap business to provide more raw materials for the 7 local steel mills in the country. Currently, over 10,000 tons, which hitherto used to be exported, is now sold to the local steel mills. However, the local steel mills are unable to purchase the large volume of scrap metals. More worrying, according to dealers, is the low prices.
Our own problem is, after the ban, the scrap price of the ton has gone down. If you go there, they have the material they like. The one rejected, you don't know where to send it. But exporter will buy almost everything you bring to him.
As on the price also, we are begging them to try and do all they can to make sure the steel industry to buy the right prices for us, because our creditors are currently chasing us. Most of our people are even out of business now.
The news team visited a scrap base in Ashaiman, where tons of scraps are dumped before sorting is done. We spotted several trucks loaded with scrap packed for months due to lack of market.
Very shortly, let me give you a feel of activities around our commodity market, finding out how trading activities are looking at. And here we are concentrating on the precious metal bullion, looking at gold on the international market. What are the factors that could be contributing to the precious metals decline on the market? Just about a few minutes ago, we saw bullion drop by $4.65 on the international market. Around this time, it has a price around 1,381.99 US dollars. That's the spot gold price on the international market. Not looking too good for cocoa, as it's also seen a decline of 17 US dollars on the international market, with a price of 2,293 US dollars a ton on the market. Well, crude oil is what has a marginal gain on the international market, just seeing an inch up of less than a US dollar. It has a price of 104.25 US dollars on an international market. So those are some updates from our commodity market. But quickly, if you want to get a reflection of activities around our stock market that's in and around yesterday, we'll just give you a feel of some of the trading activities. But hopefully today we're getting some more updates. So that's Total Trading, PBC Trading, Benz Oil Palm Plantations also seeing that marginal gain there. Very shortly we'll move in and critically discuss some of this into details. But when we're touching on stories, we're talking about food security and what is the World Food Program saying. Now, the latest indications point to a more comfortable world cereal supply and demand balance in the new 2013-2014 marketing season. The report said after a relatively tight situation and high price in the 2012-2013, good production prospects and likely replenishment in world stocks could pave the way for calmer markets and some easing of prices in its new season. So those are some updates with the World Food Program up there. All right, so interesting details there with the Syria that we're getting in this part of the world. But we'll still touch on some more international stories, as Uganda is to impose a 10% tax on cash transfers by mobile phones and other money transfer operators. Finance Minister Maria Kiwunaka said she also planned to raise 16.5 million US dollars by imposing a levy on incoming international phone calls. This followed the withdrawal of budget support by donors over accusations of corruption in the country. Well, so this afternoon we've had the opportunity to look at the commodity market. We've seen crude oil prices on the international market inch up marginally. We've also had the opportunity to review the stock market in and around yesterday. Some interesting trading activities. But it's a Friday, so we'll pile up all the week's activities. And here he joins me in the studios, Yao Edukrantin from NDK, to touch on some of the shockers around the week. Yao, thanks for joining us in the studios once again. First of all, let me find out from you. PBC saw that marginal trading and some few activities in and around the markets. Can you give us your major highlights after HFC last week saw that surprise shake-up with the buy-over?
This week, I think it's been PBC which has taken the headlines on the stock market, gaining about 20% in value. I think that's been quite, quite impressive on the market. So the week in prospect has been very good. We also seen Total also coming up with some very, very impressive. Total has been very impressive, especially for the past 3 to 4 weeks now. It's been the best on the market so far. We've seen commercial bank also gaining. Actually, that's the best equity right now on the stock market, with close to about 140% year-to-date returns. And we see PZ also, coming up with very, very impressive performance in the stock market.
Okay, so all these equities are pulling good surprises there, but let's see losers on the market. Around this time, which particular equity plays that down role that really does not impress you as a researcher?
I think I would particularly look at ETI's performance. ETI has been a stock that has been very risky on the market. At a point this year, it rose from 10 pesos to 28 pesos, and then it got back to 16 pesos, and it's still falling. So I mean, for shareholders who bought the stock when it got to about 25-26%, would have made very significant losses as at now. There has been some stocks that hasn't been able to trade much on the market. We have just about 4 equities that have seen some price declines. It has not been so, the attention has not really been focused on the decliners, but basically the way that we've seen the stocks going up on the market, that's really caught the eye of most investors on the market.
It's interesting, second quarter withdrawals. So a lot of people who saw major gains around the first quarter are maybe cashing in on the second quarter. Now, do you think this has any effects on the market?
I wouldn't say profit taking has really been very going on very much, but we can see that there's always been a high demand on the market, and the demand is yet to go down, especially with these financial stocks, which are every time they're coming up with very impressive stocks, very impressive performances on the market. We've also seen some companies like Farm Milk and others which are consistently being very good performers on the stock market, also coming up with very good performances. So far this year, all those stocks that we've been expecting to make some gains are also coming up with some gains. And then we've seen the ETF that was listed last year also going down yesterday. Duly, I think now the price of gold has really fallen and has had an effect on the ETF right now. So that's caused the price also to go down. But then so far so good.
All right, so far so good, but let me just leave it out there with the stock market figures with that little update. We'll keep our eyes there. Later on, we would tell viewers more about activities around their investments on the equity market. But quickly, if we're looking at the trend of the Ghana cedi, it's seen some ups and downs on that market. Let's just quickly study the trend a little bit. In and around the first quarter, they saw that depreciation. Into the second quarter also, there has been some ups and downs. Now, in your opinion, what could be influencing the Ghana cedi's performance on the currency market?
Basically, I think it's always been the case of demand always exceeding supply. We've seen corporate demand being very high, and nonetheless, the mining companies, which used to be the main suppliers in the market, have not really been active this year. And then the central bank also has not really come up this year so much to pump more dollars into the system to mop up the SSS demand. But then we're hoping that the cocoa board loan and then the bond that will be issued, the euro bond, that would also bring in more foreign currencies into the system, and then which will help to cushion the demand on the Ghanaian economy. But then so far the Ghana cedi has lost about close to 5% of its value to the US dollar. Although it's better than what we saw last year, it can also, we can also do something to improve it, because if it goes on at this rate, we're about to see about 8% decline or 9% decline over the year. That if nothing is really being done to hold the situation. But looking at the assurances that the central bank came out within the week about the Ghana cedi, we expect to see more appreciation, at least for the next quarter.
All right, so for the next quarter, we'll be looking out for that indefinitely. If we have the funds channeled in from the Eurobond coming in, it's likely to come cushion the Ghana cedi a little bit. My name is Kwekutimi. Many thanks for joining us on the business segment.